While many of us and people around the world were focused on what's happening in Washington, D.C., a lot of stuff has been going on around the world. We want to bring in Imtiaz Tyab in London. Imtiaz, you are following several stories for us, including a plane crash, just sort of tragic information coming out of that. What can you tell us?
Anne-Marie, good morning. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We're going to start with that tragic plane crash in Indonesia. That would be the Sriwijaya Air Flight 182, a Boeing 737 aircraft that took off from Jakarta on Saturday, but quickly vanished from radar on its way to the island of Borneo. Now, search teams have already found aircraft parts and human remains in the nearby sea. Indonesia's Navy has also released footage of divers searching through the wreckage as they hunt for the black boxes. Now, officials are calling it a, quote, 24-hour operation, saying there'll be no breaks, and that the sooner they can find the victims, the better. It's believed all 62 on board, including 7 children, have lost their lives. Moving on to a different kind of horror, this time Yemen, a country the United Nations describes as suffering from the worst humanitarian crisis in the world. For nearly 6 years, the Middle Eastern nation has been gripped by an international war between the government, backed by Saudi Arabia, and a rebel group known as the Houthis, who have ties to Iran. And, of course, Iran being Saudi's arch rival. In one of his final acts as the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo is designating the Houthis as a foreign terrorist organization. Now, the decision comes a month after Secretary Pompeo met with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who began the military intervention along with other Arab nation allies against the Houthis back in 2015. Now, that campaign has killed civilians, destroyed infrastructure, and has aggravated a humanitarian crisis that's led to a horrific famine now affecting millions of innocent Yemenis. Analysts say the Houthis pose no real threats to the U.S. and that the designation by Secretary Pompeo is only likely to further exacerbate the humanitarian crisis there. Now, here in the UK, and England's chief medical officer is warning the nation is going through the, quote, most dangerous time of the pandemic. Professor Chris Whitty says it'll be weeks before the currently approved vaccines being rolled out will have any meaningful impact, and that the next few weeks will be the worst of the pandemic for the country's National Public Health Service. Now, across England, 7 mass vaccination centers have now been opened, and thousands are expected to receive the shot. The government says it's aiming to vaccinate around 15 million people by mid-February. Britain is currently struggling to contain a super infectious strain of the coronavirus. Scientists say around 1 in 50 people across the country are currently infected with COVID-19. And here in London, that number is closer to 1 in 20. Now, this vaccination plan that is being rolled out comes as the United Nations records over 80,000 deaths to COVID-19. Anne-Marie.
Heartbreaking. Imtiaz, thank you.